We'll record pre-show banter anyways.
There you go. Cut short. Hello, and welcome to the CounterSurveil podcast on Iron Geek. I am here with the old-time crew Delchi, Crowdstrong, Sledge, and Altkey. Today, we actually didn't do any prep work, so we're going to be winging it. I hope that works.
No cool intro?
Oh, yeah, there's an intro. It just, it's going to take me a second to find it and then play it and hopefully pick the right one because I just went to go upload it, but now it's mixed in with all the other ones. So let's see how it goes. We got one person watching so far. They can enjoy it.
The CounterSurveil podcast may contain content on hacking, cybersecurity, privacy, and sticking it to the man. By listening, you agree to the following terms. Number 1, not to use anything you learn here for evil. Pinky swear. Number 2, we are not responsible if you get arrested, your computer explodes, or you accidentally hack the planet. That's on you. So don't blame us if you're on 14 watch lists, but you still keep hacking. And choose not to learn better OPSEC, because watching old anime is more fun than learning new tradecraft. And remember, number 3, the NSA and FBI may be tuning in, but hey, that's part of the thrill, right? Wave hello to your FBI agent. They probably really think they're the good guys. Number 4, any resemblance to actual hackers, living or dead, is coincidental, except when it isn't. Wait, what? Number 5, so go grab your Jolt Cola, balls and clubmate, or something a bit stronger. Be the stereotype everyone thinks you are and fire up your terminal and bite into this wild ride through the interwebs. Number 6, if you get owned, don't come crying to us. Just Control, Alt and delete your tears away and suck it up. You're a hacker, damn it, not a crybaby. Learn from it, adapt and overcome. There's no crying in hackerville. So remember what the elders of the internet once said. The consequences will never be the same. Just don't blame us if you end up on a government watch list. Number 7, if we share first-person tales of daring hacks and cybercrime, it's for dramatic effect. We're storytellers, not criminals, allegedly. Number 8, our reward is basking in the glow of our screens and the satisfaction of a job well done. And stickers, those are like currency. We won't hawk whereas here, but if we like a tool or site, we may talk about it. Nothing is monetized. Also, screw those VPN ads every YouTuber has nowadays. You should all know better than to sell snake oil. Number 9, any clever puns dropped by Altkey that make you chuckle? Let's be real. Havoc thought of them first. He's just letting her have this one. What a guy. Careful, your internalized misogyny is showing. Number 10, happy hacking, folks. And remember, the only thing more secure than a password and YubiKey with a side channel vulnerability is a tinfoil hat. Trust us, we've tried both. Sledge looks most at home in the hat. This podcast may contain references to long-forgotten memes and internet culture references that were not funny the first time around, but will become so ironically eventually if you don't get the joke. Just smile and nod like you're at a party. All your base belong to us, but we still might not make any money off this podcast. We do this simply because it's fun. It's a labor of love, or at least a labor of elite hacker skills and intentionally bad AI-generated intros. Welcome to CounterSurveil noobs, and lamers are just as welcome as elite hackers with 0 days under their belts and little else. Put on your black hoodies and prepare to jack in instead of off. It's about to get seriously cyber up in here. Remember, it's all just a story. Wink, wink.
Well, that's the worst one yet. I gotta really work.
I appreciated the puns.
All the puns. The timing, way off with the puns. But I like it. Welcome to the CounterSurveil podcast. This week, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. A lot of it thanks to our friend Lucky, who's been spamming our chat nonstop with articles. Love that guy. He's not going to make it this week. First one, pretty cool. He shared a presentation with us that is a heap overflow in JPEG within Samsung's Little Kernel bootloader, which allows for execution of persistent arbitrary code, and it even survives reboot and a factory reset. So cool that Sledge decided to even share it to his own Facebook page.
Yeah, what did I say? Like, I highlighted that one slide where it's like no ASLR, no nothing, no security, no canaries, no nothing. But it's also like you could execute code in the heap. So I was like, damn, that's almost every Samsung code.
Yeah. It's a hard knock life, huh? Or knocks.
Hard Knocks Live. That would have been a great title, guys.
Oh, yeah.
We should have rolled with that.
Hard Knocks Life. That's what we should have gone with. Maybe I'll retroactively edit it in.
Hey, before we continue, somebody has a lot of background noise.
Uh-oh. Is it me? Might be.
Yep, it was you.
Uh-oh. Well, I can't really fix that.
It's usable.
Sledge, I think you're also talking into the wrong mic yourself.
Okay, that's possible.
I mean, hers just sounds like a fan right next to her head.
You sound like you're in a cave a mile away from your microphone.
Oh, yeah, it's probably using my laptop again.
That's because there is a fan right next to my head. My PC's cooler is kind of messed up, so it's currently got a box fan taped to the side.
Old school fan tricks. I'm a fan.
Because it is a hard knocks life, and I am unemployed, so I don't get the money to fix this thing.
There we go. I think that works better now.
That is a million times better.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Box fan's a real hacker shit. You can't change my mind.
So, this week in security, we have 5 Russian GRU officers and 1 civilian charged with conspiring hacking Ukrainian government. This is in Maryland, of all places, where U.S. prosecutors returned charges against 5 Russian intelligence officers who are working for the GRU or accused of launching destructive wiper malware against the Ukrainian government in the run-up to Russia's full-scale invasion of 2022. Follows an earlier indictment that included the involvement of civilians in the scheme. This so-called Whispergate malware attack looked like ransomware, but wasn't. It was actually designed to be destructive intentionally, which honestly, isn't that what malware is supposed to be doing in general? Designed to be destructive, unless you're just trying to hide. Kind of a poor way to phrase it, in my opinion.
Well, it's destruction versus data exfil.
Once upon a time, yeah, that's what it was supposed to be. But now, in these more enlightened days, when MGM is paying out millions of dollars, you can't expect people to not try and get money. I mean, the playing field is wide open. MGM, Caesars, all God's children must play. And you got to expect. What surprises me is that there's not as much destructive stuff out there, because there is malware out there. You can sit there and you can watch your border, okay? And it gets smacked every 15 seconds by, something from Mother Russia or, Guadalajara or whatever. So why isn't anyone just doing a big ass fight club? Okay, why is nobody just doing scorched earth? Because people are getting through. These hacks are successful, but all they're doing is piddly diddly ransomware or give us money and we go away, buy borscht and vodka. But no one's doing anything fun. We're not seeing entire companies collapsing and falling on their dicks. And I don't know why. Why is this not happening? It's easy, it's clean, it's doable, and no one's doing it.
I wonder if maybe that's an argument to say, hey, maybe security is getting a little better these days.
If security was getting better, MGM wouldn't have had to fork out a couple million to get their balls back.
It didn't really knock them on their feet, though.
Caesars wouldn't have kicked out DEF CON, and,
Yeah.
Okay, security was that great. We wouldn't be looking at CNN every other 5 minutes to see who just got popped.
Like I was just saying, if you kill the cash cow, you can't keep milking it. If they're dumb enough to fall once, they're going to fall again. You're kind of closing that door if you scorch earth. You can't really go get more money from them.
That's if you care.
I mean, who doesn't care about money?
Well, who doesn't care about war?
I mean, fair. Although, I guess at this point, it's malicious versus greedy.
Right. I mean, the thing is it's all greed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's money to be made for sure, but some of these people, and say, let's just for example, okay, let's give the Ukraine a fair shot at the GRU. Okay, are they going to go in there and go, ha ha ha? Here's a picture of a dick. You have to send us $1 million, or are they going to turn the GRU into a blank slate?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I get you. Didn't think of it that way before. Thank you.
It's like it is the new military combat. Hacking is the new military combat. Okay, back in the day, nobody even could spell computer, much less run one, and now we have an entire division in the Army that's dedicated to computers and hacking and so on and so forth. So it just strikes me as odd that either they don't have the opportunity, or like you said, they don't want to kill the cash cow, or maybe they're afraid that they're going to lock them up in a room and throw away the room. You remember many, many, many years ago, there was a hacker who went by the handle of Tron. Not Mr. IB, not that guy, but the other guy. And he was trying to play both sides, and he ended up hanging from a tree in Gorky Park.
Well, I mean, he did try playing both sides. It's never a good call.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody's intelligent. I mean, people who do things like this have their flaws. They have their moments of I shouldn't have done that. I mean, consider our most famous of the moment hacker. Okay? He lives in Hawaii. He's got a cushy government job. He's dating a stripper. And he threw it all away for what? God and country? Something's not quite right there.
I think he threw it away because somebody had dirt.
It's entirely possible.
Fully speculation, of course, for all the watchers. I do not have any special intel on that you could not find out by Google.
Nobody knows what really happened. Nobody does. And nobody's going to. We'll have a lot of good guesses and interesting what ifs, and I think he did it because he couldn't get KFC that day. I mean, who knows?
I mean, I've seen some people rage at KFC employees.
Do you remember the video of during COVID, the people that were raging at Walmart because they would only let them buy 2 cases of Mountain Dew?
Yeah. That wasn't a good look on the gamer community.
I don't think they were gamers.
They weren't, but I mean, I still remember the smear.
Yeah, I just remember that you can't tell me I can't buy the. Meanwhile, 20 people are running out the front door with toilet paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it was Diet Pepsi, you would have had a riot.
Shh. We had riots over that back in the 80s. Any children of the 80s here?
Well, 89 if that counts.
No. I'm talking about 83.
Pepsi back then.
But Pepsi represented communism and Coke represented America. And if you drank Pepsi, you were a communist. Oh, yeah.
The Color Wars, dude.
The Color Wars.
So I was born in close to the mid-90s.
Okay.
That is way before my time.
You missed all the fun.
I also missed all the good music, so yeah.
Yes, you did.
I also missed being able to fly without the TSA finger up the butt, so yeah.
Oh, you mean the Freedom Fondle?
Mm-hmm, the Freedom Fondle, or it's not gay if it's TSA.
Yeah, it's not gay if it's
the
TSA.
Freedom Fondle. Hadn't heard that one, but we love that.
Also, while we're changing topics, I would like to shout out someone in our chat, Dwango AC, who he also has a pretty interesting game technology related channel. If you're interested in speed runs, specifically tool assisted speed runs and some pretty nice Lua, check his stuff out. He's raised a lot of money for charity. He does a lot of good work. So go say hi to Dwango.
What's the Lua for? Well, what's he writing in Lua?
You'll see his channel. You'll definitely see. I'm explaining this horribly, so Dwango, please feel free to step in and write a little bit about yourself in the comments. But
I only wrote Lua for Minecraft.
So Dwango is also in his day job, his daily life to life. He's on the red side as well, so he kind of has this split where he takes his technology skills from his career and applies them to actively helping children in need. And it's a really beautiful thing to see.
Hoorah.
Cool.
That's dope.
Yeah. Say hi for him. Anyways. All right. Back on topic here. And like I said, please, Dwango, make a better pitch in the chat.
Yes, indeed. Sledge and I came up with a good idea for somebody who's doing a job interview in InfoSec. You give them a copy of Kali, and you make them get OpenVAS working. off the bat.
What you do is you uninstall Kali and then install Parrot.
Yeah.
Oh,
They might
come
actually
on.
work off the bat in that one.
Wait, isn't it nixed for you?
It is. So I couldn't run Kali unless it's in a VM anyways, or, on one of my 12 hard drives in here, because I'll be honest, I just boot off the raw drive. I've gotten angry enough at that one Windows partition wiping out everything else. So I just decided to say screw grub. Just boot off the
Raw
raw
dog
drive.
Hey, you guys remember those attacks on shopping carts not long ago? They were injecting JavaScript into the page and stealing credit cards. You'd never think it would happen on, say, Cisco's website where you can buy official Cisco merch. That's where it happened.
That's at least worth a while.
I mean, people have been doing that for a while. When I spun up my Asterisk server, I bought a box full of ancient Cisco phones because they had the displays on them, and people were out there selling all kinds of patches and drivers and this and that and the other thing. So it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, Cisco is kind of going the way Microsoft is going right now. Once they EOL something, you can't use it, you can't touch it, you can't do anything with it. And there's people like me with a junkyard full of gear wanting to play and learn and do things. And it's like, oh, you need this file and this over here, and we won't give it to you. And even if we could, we might not. But if you pay us $500,000, we'll. And it's like, you know what? I got 2 words for you. They're not happy birthday.
Are they going subscription based too?
I got 2 words for you, and it's not happy birthday.
Yeah, I mean, Cisco's been like that for a while. If you want to get the latest and greatest, drivers or iOS or whatever the hell they call their shit, you have to pay for it.
Yeah, it's that, and I've had issues with Cisco, but now they bought Splunk, and that's a rough one too, buddy.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
As someone who went through a Cisco Net Academy for my first degree.
Yeah, they bought Splunk because they couldn't afford the yearly costs,
Okay.
and now nobody else can afford the yearly cost. It's kind of like VMware, only with Broadcom.
Yep.
Also,
Now,
and I can't
here's
stop
something you might not know.
VMware is just a shit show, complete shit show. It's just the worst since they took it over.
Yeah,
they made
an anti-Broadcom
VMware
in the house, man.
like the player and workstation, but everything else is crap.
Yeah, I built my career on vSphere, and whoops, there goes that.
I started off on ESXi and vSphere and all that.
Yep.
There's one thing that Cisco did that they abandoned that I really wish they hadn't. And out of all the things that Cisco has done, I would forgive them if they would just had supported this. Has anybody remember Peter Packet?
Only because you've told me about Peter Packet fairly recently.
Peter Packet was like an animated cartoon that taught you networking. And it was the best of the 80s music and, and it was an 80s sitcom about networking. And the main router was this like Cisco looking box with a cigar in its mouth and like an octopus number of arms. And it's like, Peter, how do you subnet this so that we can, what the funny thing about it was? When it first came out, when Peter Packet first came out, it was designed for kids to learn networking, which I was all for. But then every episode had a Save the Impoverished People theme built into it. Like in the first episode, you had to stop packet collisions so you could bring information about how to make clean water to all these non-white people living in the middle of, Despairville. And when you got it right, they all went, hooray, we now have drinking water. And I'm like, okay, so you're teaching kids in an American school, who are waiting for pizza day, how to route networks so that you can bring water to impoverished people. And I'm like, that's a bit of a head fuck right there. And they stopped doing that after a while. And they just made it generically, we have to save the network. And then they introduced Penny Packet, and she was the female representation, and she knew everything and made Peter look like an ass. It's like, of course, Peter, the net mask is 255, 255, 255, 0. And, it was just like, wow.
Do you even cider, bro?
Oh, man. They got into that a little bit. There's the cigar smoking router.
Man, Cisco was way more boring. I feel like I got cheated going to a Cisco Academy and having to sit there through death by PowerPoint, like every single class.
Well, the thing
Did
is,
they at least let you play with Packet Tracer for a little bit?
We did get to play with Packet Tracer, but back when I used Packet Tracer, it was not free. So I ended up getting cheated into paying for it. And now Packet Tracer is free, and I highly recommend everyone on here who's weak in networking, please go play with Packet Tracer, like for reals.
And then
Packet
really
Tracer
bot,
and what is it?
GNS3.
Yeah,
GNS3. Yep. Specifically for any students in the chat, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, I know who you are. Please go play with Packet Tracer. It will fix your networking woes.
What would
make our training you less difficult?
What would you suggest for a person who has failed Network Plus twice?
A different career path.
No.
Yeah.
leaving aside the obvious.
Like, it's one of those. For me, the Network Plus was all memorization.
Yeah,
like, the common sense questions aren't why you fail. You can look at it and be like, okay, someone took scissors to the wire, so this isn't a level 7 issue. That would be stupid. But you need to memorize supports. You need to memorize the crap. And if you failed it twice, you're not memorizing hard enough.
Yeah, it's not even really about memorizing. Well, I guess it is, but I would call it muscle memory. Like, you need to actually have a lab and see the ports work and actually use things to where when you're asked a question, you can be like, oh, I know what that is.
I understand where that's coming from, but when we're just talking about raw questions about ports, and I mean, not even about the stupid stuff that they put in there, like what is whaling? What is PHQRTHSING? Where they invent new shit in order for you to buy their books and get the right answer to pass.
Oh, yeah. That gets annoying as shit.
There's always so many variations of the word fish, guys. Like, my puns can go on for years, but come on.
The thing is that when it gets down to the bare bones of it, okay, if you can tell the difference between Coke and Pepsi, you can tell the difference between 80 and 443.
Yep.
It's not, I hate rote memorization. I do. I hate it because it's the worst thing in the world, and I can't do it. But it's like I work with this shit long enough that I'm like, okay, yeah, port 80, 443, 53. Well, what's port 13579? Oh, that's the route to your mom's house. It's got implicit allow turned on, and everybody hits. I'm just like, you don't need to know. You need to know your basic stuff, but it's really not that hard.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of basics, and once you know those basics, if there's any oddball questions at all, but when I took it, first of all, I got lucky because they asked 7 different times what port 22 was in like 7 different ways.
They keep trying to throw you off.
What is port 22? What is the port for SSH? What would you use port 22 for? Would you use the public key with port 22?
What would it take place on?
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, but even if they do hit you with those oddballs, as long as you know like the raw basics of what each port does, you can generally guess. Like, even if I didn't know 22, but I looked at the question, what port is SSH? And the answers were like 22, 69, 420, 80. Well, I know it ain't 420 or 80. So any other question on that booklet / on the website, whatever, if it mentioned 22 at all and it didn't include port 69, then you have your answer. Now you know it's 22.
What is port 69?
Does Telnet run on 22?
Trivial FTP, because ass is trivial.
TFTP. Oh, don't even. I heard the beginning of that question. Okay, you want to hear a funny story? Mm-hmm. Many years ago, I quote unquote bombed an interview with SpaceX. You want to know how?
Was it one of those stupid brain teasers they ask?
Oh, no. What port does ping operate on?
I was just gonna say that.
Oh, it's the nice
And
part.
I said, that's not a port. That's ICMP. And they're like, okay, but what port does that run over? I mean, it doesn't run over everything. It's ICMP. It's in a completely different protocol. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a chance to change your answer. Do you know what the answer is? And I'm like, I just gave you the answers. Okay, but are you sure? I'm like, yes. Ping is an ICMP tool. It does not operate on any given port. Well, thanks for calling us. We'll get back to you later. Click. I was like, wow.
I can't remember it, but back in the day, there was a program that was called Ping running over a port, but I can't remember the port number.
That was like talk or chat.
I know. It was kind of like a gotcha.
But the thing is, some people can use Ping. They believe that you could use Ping to touch a port to see if it was open or not. Right. And I'm like, what? And it's like, what if you have an FTP server on a non-standard port? Oh, okay. But that doesn't change the fact that Ping is ICMP.
Like,
look, even Perplexity agrees with him.
Yeah, like I remember this specifically because one of my professors in the Cisco Networking Academy asked this on the final as a trick question. And everyone said port 0. There's no port 0.
Actually,
it's not like that.
There is a port 0 that's used sometimes. And I ran into this working for a large major company whose name will remain what it is. Mm-hmm. We found that their chosen password storage system used a thing called port 0, used some kind of variant of port 0 to send information like your passwords and your names and all this stuff. I caught it with Wireshark. And I was like, guys, what is this? And they're like, no, there's no port 0. And I'm like, well, what does this report say? Port 0. And it was, I'd never heard of it before. I'd never seen it before, but I caught it because it was using port 0 to send passwords.
I thought port 0 was a wildcard port, as in if they use it, it just moves it to an ethereal port of its choosing, basically.
Yeah, it's a wildcard.
But it wouldn't show up as port 0 in the records, then it'd show up as the ethereal port that the wildcard is chosen, wouldn't it?
It would be interesting to see the Wireshark data versus the logs on the server itself.
But anyways, the ICMP question got everyone. Well, everyone except for me, who quite literally declined answering that one. And when the professor asked me why, I'm like, because it's a trick question.
I mean, that's how I answered.
At me like,
when I mentioned that random old tool that was called Ping, and that got a good laugh out of him.
You know what's really funny right now? You've got to install Ping on most systems now.
IP utils. It's a pain in the ass. I hate having to do that.
I was like, WTF? Ping is not on the system. I'm running Linux, and I'm like, why is there no Ping on my Linux box?
Why is there no ifconfig?
Oh, jeebus.
Because you didn't install NetTools. Now go use that and install it.
We don't recommend you use that program. We recommend you sit and stew in your own juice. I'm like, what?
We want you to type iptac4a instead of ifconfig now.
Or like IP adder or whatever the hell it is nowadays.
Or in the worst case scenario, use IPv6.
I was mad when they started renaming the wireless interfaces. That one miffed me a bit. For a while, I would just go back and change everything to F0. Like, F0, F1, F2. I don't want ENS 01653P. No.
You say F, I say ETH.
F ETH.
Is it router or router?
The government isn't ready for cyber chaos in the food and agricultural sector.
The government isn't ready for anything in cyber anything.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget my famous words about using the word cyber.
The USDA assigned this critical mission to a small, underfunded office. Of course they did.
Is this the remnants of something we talked about on one of the first episodes we did?
I don't know. Is it? You tell me.
Yeah, I think it was because we were talking about the government allocating funds to cybersecurity groups and little firms and stuff. I wonder if this is one of them.
Indeed.
All they're doing is pissing off the farmers.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's the last thing you want to do.
You piss off farmers, and what's going to happen? They're
like they did when John Deere started charging them to repair their tractors.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
that was a huge thing in my hometown.
You know what's funny though? I know how this is going to come out because everybody knows that a lot of the old school, hardcore infosec people are quitting. And they're going to start farms, and they're raising chickens, and they're building outhouses and shit like that.
Bill Gates beat him to that, though. He bought all the farms.
Becoming homesteaders. I'm one of them.
Exactly. So what's going to happen when you sit in a tractor and it goes, boop, sorry, you can't look at the BIOS of this tractor. Oh, all the old school hacker, everything is going to come back in, and they go, oh, yeah? Hold my beer. And the worst thing about that is there's going to be country western songs about hacking your tractor.
That would actually be awesome.
There's country songs about, the dog leaving you, wife leaving. Now your tractor's going to leave you too.
Oh, yeah. And your car too. Don't forget the self-driving cars.
Your house has got to just pick up and just, yeah.
When you play a country song backwards, you get your tractor back, your wife back, your dog back.
Yeah, your dog comes back to you. Yep.
Also, this is a reminder that Linux does support right to repair, just saying. So if you're looking for a little bit of spice in your computer distribution life, might I recommend getting the heck off of Windows?
But you got to have Windows if you want TikTok and Facebook. And
you don't want TikTok. You don't want Facebook.
Yeah,
just use Mastodon.
I am not coming from the point of view of common sense. Please understand. That was a mockery of a sham of a mockery.
I was just like, why do you want that stuff? It's
that
not
was
even
sarcasm.
that good. You can just find that crap on other platforms, though.
It does get around, but
they want their algorithm, man. They wanted to tell them what they like, so that they don't have to think about it themselves.
You do not want to know about the algorithm and me, the relationship we have. It is just obscene.
Directions unclear. Dick stuck in algorithm.
Well, I don't know.
Man, we're gonna get demonetized.
Here's what happened during DEF CON. Due to the skullduggerous and evil and illegal actions of the bus company, they refused to pick me up in my wheelchair. And I got the worst case of heat stroke you've ever seen. I mean, 10 seconds short of hospitalization, right?
I heard about that.
So I was laying in my bed pouring bottles of water over myself to try and cut the temperature down because I couldn't get into my bathtub or shower or anything. And, of course, that soaked through the blankets and the sheets and everything. So I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. I've got Amazon right here. And I'm like, water-resistant blankets, right? Like for camping or something. No. Amazon pops up this 28 by 24 water sports blanket for BDSM play.
I mean...
And it literally said, for those of you into water sports, this will help save your bed, and so on and so on. And it was actually cheaper than the camping stuff, so I bought it.
The algorithm knew
that explains
it. They knew you were suffering on that.
Ever since I bought that, the algorithm does nothing but show me S&M toys.
Yeah.
All of my suggested shit that was coming in from Amazon. Yeah, when you click on Amazon and it says, oh, we've got a suggestion for you. Here's a dildo that's chained together to make nunchucks, $19.95.
That would actually go hard at DEF CON, though.
Not anymore. Oh.
The LVCC would probably take it.
Well,
I mean, they can just buy their own stuff. But
a couple of years ago, I was at a Mini Bosses concert. And somebody knocked me down and tied a big purple dildo to my belt using paracord. And I didn't have a knife or any way to cut it off with me. So I'm walking around DEF CON with this giant purple dildo hanging up behind me. And I got accosted by people screaming at me that I was supporting the patriarchy and demeaning women.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I just need a knife because somebody put this on me as a joke and I can't cut the paracord.
Also,
like,
wait, what?
You're just another porn-watching, evil male rapist in waiting, blah, 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 wah, 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 wah. And I was just like, wow. I got that. They followed me to my car. And then eventually I cut it off and put it in the trunk. And I was just, wow. So, you can't do that kind of stuff.
And then they're like, we won. He cut it off, we won. Like you weren't trying to the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The culture of DEF CON has changed a lot. We can't get away with a lot of stuff we used to.
Well, there's no pool
Or,
anymore, so,
I'd say, yeah, or you're just like me and you're just pure trouble anyways, and no one's going to like what you do. So you
the difference is I get away with it.
Well, you're Sledge.
Yeah, Sledge has his own little band of fun that I enjoy a lot at DEF CON.
And I spend all of DEF CON just trying to break into things anyways.
I want to bring back the wheelchair
so.
joust. I want to do wheelchair jousting next year.
Yes. I mean, for any employer watching this, DEF CON is a serious convention. You should totally pay for us to go.
Every
wheelchair
convention,
jousting,
for sure. It's good for training.
Yeah.
every convention has its lampshade wearers. There are things that happen at conventions all the time.
Don't ask Palo Alto about their lampshade wearers.
or the Chinese guy staring at the nude pool at Caesars with binoculars behind the curtains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cyber security goes hard, guys. Especially for all you students in the chat, especially the ones who haven't been to DEF CON yet. I see who you are.
Well,
DEF CON goes hard.
You have to look at it in a chart kind of way with like a sine wave curve. DEF CON has evolved the way Chuck E. Cheese devolved. Now, Chuck E. Cheese used to be the place where you took your kids for a pizza party. Mm-hmm. And now it's a place where adults go and get drunk and have fights with each other. DEF CON started out where a place where hackers go to get drunk and fight with each other. And now it's where you take your kids for a pizza party.
Pretty much.
So you have to watch the evolutionary curve.
So what you're saying is we need Chuck E. Cheese to come back in full force so that DEF CON will even itself out.
Well, they tried to do it with Papa John's, but nobody realized that Papa John's is shit pizza.
Oh, dude, that was better than anything in that food court, dude.
No, I heard Papa John's is just like no. You just look at it and you say no.
It was better than that like $20 pizza in that food court. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was way better than anything in that freaking food court.
Like that Papa John's saved a lot of us with low blood sugar from dying at DEF CON this year.
Well, that's funny because there's two things I can say about that. Papa John's actually is still having a hard time processing their credit card transactions. And a lot of people are getting double and triple charge. Number two, somebody came into the HDA room this year and threw a complete Karen because we didn't have anything for them to normalize their blood sugar. And I'm like, you just had to walk through a food court and past a half a dozen vending machines to come in here and say, give me a shot of something, which we can't do.
Right.
But they had a complete 4-star Karen meltdown.
Well, I mean, when your blood sugar's that low, you really don't think straight. But, that's one of those...
I know. I
see the argument because I got my blood sugar really low to the point where I was actually like head on table at one point because the room was spinning. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm unemployed. I don't have $30 to spend at this food court and then wait in line for 3 hours to get my blood sugar back to normal. I also don't have 3 hours to wait.
Well, the vending machines had all sorts of, this and that you could use too.
They did. They're like $10 an item, but they did.
And I didn't see anything at $10. I mean, yeah, it was ridiculously
bad.
Expensive, but I didn't see anything for $10.
Plus, they wouldn't take my card. That was another problem. Is the vending machines didn't take cash, and they wouldn't take my card. So I literally had nothing I could do other than ask my friend to walk to Denny's and walk back because I was about to black out on that table. But is that DEF CON's fault? No.
Well, the thing
No,
is
that's
that,
my fault for not having snacks on me. I knew
Right.
that this crap's going to be expensive. I could have got snacks the day before, and I did, and I thought I had enough snacks. I didn't. It happens to everyone, but that one ain't on DEF CON.
You could have asked a goon.
We're not allowed to bring things in.
Right, we're not supposed to bring things in.
No,
I'm gonna bring
not
things
supposed
in
to.
anyway.
We're not allowed to. We're talking like legal binding paperwork.
Well, they can take my legally passed out on the table ass to court.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a diagnosis. They can take me to court.
No,
Thank
actually,
you.
that is an exception, and I got that put into the books this year.
If something like that ever happens, you can ask a goon, and we got stuff on hand to rectify.
I
that.
didn't know that, and that wasn't advertised at all. Let's be honest, people would abuse it if it was. And I'll be honest, Sledge, I met you on day 3. This happened on day 1.
I was gonna say,
So-
didn't y'all just meet? You didn't have that hookup
We
at the time.
just met, and I did have goon friends, but they were all in the sock. And last time I went in there, I got screamed at. So
Well, that's standard. But I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, there's a difference between going into a room and saying, "Oh my God, give me what I need right now, or else you suck," and I'm going to write everybody in social media and get you. And there's a difference between that and going, "Help! I need help. I have fucked up blood sugar, and I need to get something in me. Will somebody help me?"
And I was really too weak to go looking for help at that point, so I just laid my head on the table and waited for one of my groups to find me, because I had like 3 or 4 DEF CON groups I was with at the time, and it wasn't that big of a deal. Sent out a message, please help. Gum usually is sugar-free, but thank you for the attempt.
If you check under the tables at the food court.
Oh, yeah, Lambda had a absolute royal fire battle because he's from NYC, representing NYC 2600, and did not like those NYC-style pizzas.
Oh yeah, there's no such thing as
somebody from New York. I can
Hey,
tell you, but there's
I
no
don't
such
care.
thing.
It was cheaper and better than anything at that food court.
He had several tables at the food court, like cheering him on in this argument, too. That dude almost incited a riot.
We have people like that here in Vegas. Period. There is no New York style pizza in Vegas.
Also, speaking of
Yeah,
blood sugar,
Very unfortunate. I have not been able to find good New York. Closest I found was at the Plaza Hotel. They have a little pizza place on the first floor. Their pizza's pretty close, but still way too greasy.
so Vegas food overall, as someone who lived there, and as also someone who lived in the Deep South where food is amazing, Vegas food is garbage. You have to compensate for the fact that Vegas is a desert, food shipments take forever, and the casinos get all the good food. And then they ruin the good food. And then they charge you way too much money for
I
it.
would argue go off strip and you can find some really good hole in the wall shit.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
some-
like you can. But it's one of those, if you want actual groceries that taste good,
You can't just go to
come on,
Walgreens.
We've got a Whole Foods.
Not
like-
the whole paycheck, dude.
y'all do have a Whole Foods, but like that's the whole paycheck. And last time I
Yep.
got tomatoes in Vegas, they were straight up gray. And I ain't that colorblind. Like, the food was horrible. And I remember someone mentioning barbecue in Vegas and just this one guy going, "Meh," like PTSD flashbacks. And I'm like,
Yep.
you're from Georgia, aren't you? He's like, uh-huh. I'm like, yeah, me too. And then the dude's face just lit up like, oh my God, you know what food tastes like. There's a reason everyone's skinny in Vegas.
Georgia represent.
Georgia represent. Food, actual edible food,
Yeah.
represent. Like,
Gang.
that is one thing I will say I miss moving to Vegas. That was probably the worst, is I got such bad cravings. I was dreaming about eating food that wasn't Vegas food. I got to where I didn't eat for like 3 days once because the Vegas food was so nasty.
Yep. I eat once a day, and that's it. I still live in Vegas.
Yeah,
I
and
eat
then
once
don't
a day.
forget the water that dries to a nice fine yellow powder, and you have a combination for.
My God. Have you guys had the drinking water? Like, it tastes dusty.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
From all the bodies out in Lake Mead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Lake Mead is getting lower and lower, and as it gets lower and lower, we get more and more bodies out.
It's free protein.
It's free, bro. No.
It's the other white meat, guys.
God.
Adds fiber.
Speaking of the 80s,
Mm-hmm. Okay, if you call, I accidentally called the airport Camp McCarran several times when I lived in Vegas, and the Uber driver never questioned it. He just always took me to the airport. Like the locals know what you're talking about.
I couldn't live in Vegas. The only reason I'd want to go to Vegas is to hang out during DEF CON or to go see Delchi. Other than that,
I loved Vegas.
It doesn't appeal to me.
Vegas, favorite place to live overall, but the downsides were so bad because you really can't make friends out there. That was my issue. I had a hard time making friends.
Yeah, I lived in Vegas for 2 years, and besides Delchi, and my friend Mike, and maybe a few others, here and there, it was really difficult making friends.
Well, there's a reason for that. The majority of the people in Vegas are idiots.
Correct.
Yeah. And
I worked with a few.
You just can't fix that. It's like going to the deep south and expecting people not to be marrying their sister. It just doesn't happen.
Hey, that's Alabama. We're a couple states off of that.
We're not deep. Well, you guys are deep south. I'm no longer deep
I am
south.
absolutely in the deep south. We're
anything below the Mason-Dixon line. Okay.
No.
No.
I
We have
am
standards.
deeper than
Okay.
the deep south. I can.
Some
Of
of
course,
us-
you have standards. You only get your first cousin, not your second cousin.
Exactly. Some of us actually only, they don't date sisters. They date siblings by marriage. It's fine.
It's like the kid that goes out to his dad, right? Dad's riding the tractor, and he says, Pa, we got an emergency. He's, what's wrong? He says, I can't marry Sally Mae. She's a virgin. And Pa spits his tobacco out and says, damn right, she's not good enough for her own kin. She's not good enough for mine.
That's fun.
So we have a saying where I'm from. I don't know if any of y'all used this as an insult in high school, but probably the worst burn of my time was they're so inbred I can enter them in a dog show and win.
And with that, speaking of really bad burns, would you trust your AI to scan your genitals for STI?
Segue.
As a segue to our sponsors, solicited dick pics. No.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
that
being
data
like an
going?
AI and you go through all this training and then you find out you're like the butter bot, except your purpose is to identify pictures of STIs on genitals?
So
Somebody's like, picture too small, cannot compute.
or my personal favorite, color is off. Please get this. But all joking aside, this has been done before. There's a lot of communities out there, specifically online multiplayer games, that do use AI to check for pics of the goods
You can
to
just
prevent.
You could just. Say,
We just said it already. Okay, so the idea is to prevent cheese pizza. These AI check incoming and outgoing messages of users at games primarily aimed to an audience under 18 years of age for solicited and otherwise pics.
Okay, all right. So
remember when Apple was going to do that on everybody's uploaded pics without anybody's permission, and just decided, yeah, we're going to do this, and then everybody's like, what about privacy?
Yeah,
and
the issue with that is, once again, these games are making the same mistake Apple did and using a public AI, meaning there's cheese pizza somewhere in there now.
Of course.
So they have hurt themselves in their confusion.
They've hurt themselves in their confusion. Ow.
I came across an AI earlier this week that takes nods and puts clothing on them. So that was interesting.
I had to think about that. I was like, nods. Are we talking like?
I was trying not to
nods?
say it.
And then no, the answer is not nods. We're not talking about like night visions. I had to think about what you were saying there. No,
we don't have a sponsor. It was a joke.
I think this is like a sponsored
no
ad
money
of the
there.
website, I believe. That's not like an actual sponsor.
Speaking of there being no money, the security boom is over, with over a third of CISOs reporting falling flat on budgets.
So, like, can y'all hire me, please? I'm unemployed.
Well, we are getting close to bonus season, so everyone's going to be tightening their belts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They're going to start writing people up for bullshit so they can justify not giving them out bonuses.
Well, and also trying to spend the rest of their yearly budget.
Well, they got to spend it so that they can get those sponsor kickbacks and free vacations before the year's up.
Yeah.
Where's the worst place to leave your secrets? Research into what happens to AWS credentials left in public places.
Well, there's your answer. Public places.
Mm-hmm. My favorite's GitHub.
Oh, what about Pastebin?
Oh, Pastebin's awesome.
Now you got YT Cracker stuck in my head.
Hey.
YT, I talked to him. He said we can use any of his music as our intro if we want. I reached out to him a while back. He's like, yeah.
Absolutely. Please do. Put it up on Pastebin. It won't get erased. Sorry.
I certainly did have an AI analyze YT Cracker's musical style and then generate our logo, our introductory song based on the musical characteristics of his music.
I got a song you can use. The band no longer exists, so no one's going to complain.
Is it
and I pretty
Yatzago?
much guarantee you none of you have ever heard of them.
Is it Yatzago?
You mean Zed Yago?
There we go. That's it.
The metal band? No, they're still around. In fact, I still talk with the singer every once in a while on Facebook.
Damn it.
She's
dude,
she's
a
a reasonably good friend. I love Zed Yago.
Mm.
But did you know that name also exists in a weird science fiction story that has nothing to do with the band?
Yes.
Sardonyx. But the band was called Barcelona. And I can see by everyone's face you've never heard of them. Look up Barcelona shell account. And they have a song about a girl who pops a guy's shell account password.
Yeah,
and that would make a great theme song.
It probably would. I haven't heard it myself, but if anybody knows music, it's you, my friend. So
yeah, for sure.
I just put the old in old school. Okay, that's my sole sincere job.
That ping question is my favorite thing to ask when I'm doing interviews.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I had to step away
think
from
all of us have actually gotten asked that question.
Yeah, that's my favorite of all time. It's good.
That's right up there with, hey, what's a nice packet like you doing in a network like this?
What's layer 9? What's layer 14?
Layer 8 is politics and layer 9 is money.
ID10T, what?
Oh, yeah.
So who remembers like 1998 when Mudge and the guys went in front of Congress and were like, hey, BGP is really an issue. We should do something about it. And then nothing happened. Well,
of course, they went in front of the government. What did you expect? Did you expect Senator Tobacco Profits to stand up and go, oh, my God, we've got to fix this right away?
Well, it's only been, like 25 years or so? And now,
the next 5 years, we might get
Jessica, whatever her name is worried about BGP hijacks. Are they going to go dig Mudge out of the basement and bring him back?
Well, I mean, how many BGP attacks? We've had a couple of them in the last few years.
Yeah, we see entire countries routed through other countries.
Yep. There are websites, BGP tracker websites for this, just to track it.
And one of the biggest offenders just happens to be that one, apparently.
Oh, I wonder why.
I
feel like McGonagall. Like, why is it always you?
Routes, it's obviously not.
Where's my attribution dice?
Like, the meme Harry Potter, McGonagall going, why is it when something happens, it's always you three? China Telecom is Ron Weasley.
I was watching Harry Potter last night, and that scene came up. Is the
why Ron Weasley?
Because let's be honest, have you seen their OPSEC?
Yeah, fair.
You mean Slopsack? Yeah.
Yeah.
Defense against the dark net.
If the Dark Army was half as badass as they are in Mr. Robot, we'd have a problem. But
I don't know. Maybe we just haven't peeved them off enough for them to spawn higher level agents. Like we have to get a certain number of stars first, and then
We
the
need to get
actual bad guys
And-
start spawning.
And then we
Mr.
can
Robot
get
had at
agents.
least good directors and good technical support to make everything legit.
Yeah, shout out to Mark Rogers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
They did a good job. I think Kennedy was actually one of the tech consultants on that, and they
I
used
believe
like
so.
social media
Him
tools.
and
Mark
Street.
Rogers.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
think
Mark
Street was too.
Who?
And Street.
Oh, really? Not
I think.
surprising. I like when he goes into the office building and he has to like hide out in that boardroom for a little bit. So he says he's Dave Kennedy. It just starts going. Great.
Well, he could have said Eddie Vedder.
True that. You know, that worked in Hackers pretty well with the modem. You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
Eddie Vedder. And you know these Japanese management types. They make me
No,
commit Harry
that
Carey.
was the modem scene. The Eddie Vedder scene was the one where he was placing the little box underneath the secretary's desk. He's like, "I'm Eddie Vedder from accounting." The modem part was when he said, "Oh, well, my new manager, Mr. Kawasaki, is going to make me commit Harry Carey if I don't get this report to him." You know, yeah, I remember that.
I love that so much because I've done the same thing.
We're gonna go AWOL on our VLT drive.
Oh yeah.
Man, I need to go watch Hackers again.
That's such a great movie, even though it's so horribly inaccurate. Although it probably would have been boring if it were.
It's top notch. It was top notch back.
It's
It,
what
was,
the
it
hacker
wasn't
community
meant
really
to
should
be.
like.
It wasn't
No, it's
meant to
not.
be technically accurate, though. I mean, really,
It's the appropriate amount of hacker trash, you know.
it was more about the community and the people and pulling out all the top secret books and saying things like, "Oh, I'm the elite," and shit like that. In real life, most
Hack
of
the
that shit would
planet.
never have happened.
Hack the planet.
I mean, the
Planet.
kid chain smoking and claiming that he hit an ATM would have been left at McDonald's before they went to the hacker cafe.
Yeah, it's got the style. It's
Yeah,
got the
exactly.
style. Also, the style I refer to as hacker trash, as in trashy amounts of technobabble in all the best ways. Like I live for that.
It's the B-rated version.
And also, it's like you had so many stereotypes. Like one of the hackers had to have a photographic memory, and one of them had to have a secret past, and one of them had to be homeless, and one of them had to be pussy whipped by his mother. It was just, it was good. I mean, I'm not going to say it's
It
bad.
sounds about right in terms of the hacker culture.
I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's 5 of us here. Which one of us is homeless?
But now we're in the past couple of years.
Yeah, because we're talking past couple years.
There has been a point, and I have been there.
Hey, we haven't hit the October surprise yet this year.
I did get
October
kicked out
is
of a house.
when all the fucking hammers fall every year.
I did get kicked out of a house a few years back because I was renting, and the people didn't pay their they got foreclosed on because they weren't paying their HOA dues, and if I might fuck HOAs, but they didn't pay their HOA dues, so they got foreclosed on. So I got booted for a while. So technically, yes, been there, done that.
HOAs.
I agree with the HOA sentiment.
You should be hacking HOAs. That would be.
That's the answer. Hack the HOAs.
I want to run to be part on the HOA board and just take over from the inside.
No, man. You go and you run for HOA. You make friends around your neighborhood or whatever. You run for HOA president. You become HOA president, and you disband that shit as soon as you get in.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's exactly what you do. Because the only people who actually run HOAs have red paper hats, and well, you know what they say about that.
The Karen Brigade.
I'm in a legal position with my HOA because they retroactively went back and changed the rules
Dude, those dudes hate
after
you.
I did a concert.
Yeah, those dudes hate you so much.
Hey, now,
those dudes hate you so much.
as the only person here who's in a wheelchair, I can tell you right now the purple dildo is optional. Okay,
But the low blood sugar isn't, like, seriously.
Well, no, I have high blood sugar, and my spare wheelchair runs Kali Linux. So
big old purple dildos will fit in a cannon if you know what that is.
But can your wheelchair run Doom?
Actually, yes, it can.
Yes, it can.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people have seen my wheelchair.
Rolling Thunder is pretty based, actually.
The funny thing is that it runs Kismet in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool!
I think we met at DEFCON.
Rolling Thunder is pretty based.
I didn't see any antennas when I saw you.
Oh, well, the antennas are hidden.
Okay.
But yeah, they're watching like a video or they're hearing me DJ off of the chair. But the whole time, I hit like the input switch on the monitor and it goes, boop, oh look, here's Kismet. And like I was rolling through anywhere and everywhere, just stacking it up.
There was a cool article about this people using AI to do stuff with Doom not long ago. I can't remember what the specifics were. Remember, it was pretty cool. They're talking about how they Doom renders things special because it's not truly 3D. It's like 2.5D, and the sprites and like the way that the things are lined up. Training an AI on that. Not that I'm able to find the article, but it was a neat one.
Sweet. Doom on VR doesn't work very well.
Oh, look, Dwango's going to get Tazbot on it, going to set up a physical environment with a level layout and drive a wheelchair around it.
So, me and Dwango have talked before about putting Doom on some kind of moving device and actually setting it in the environment, and you drive the device to control your character in game.
So what about one of those? Oh God, what are they called? You know the. It's you stand in the thing and you've got the shoes, the slip-ons your shoes, and you walk in the thing and it walks in VR or whatever.
The old magnetic donut from back in the 90s.
Yeah, something like that.
Kind of like that.
They have a newer version now.
Have you seen the version of Doom where it takes the demons that are in the room with you have a process ID, and if you kill the demon, it kills the process ID?
No, but that's awesome.
People were using Doom to sysadmin. But you had to be careful because if you shot the wrong demon, the whole system went right to
That's
happy.
amazing.
That's like that one game that was I can't remember which one it was, but it would delete files on your system as you played it. You killed things. It was just a toss up and what file got deleted. That was fun.
Also, Doom sysadmin % would go hard.
Doom sysadmin %.
Yeah, like Doki Doki Literature Club used to put like random crap on your desktop.
Oh yeah. And funny thing is, if you delete the correct file before you start the game will know you cheated, jump scare you, and exit immediately.
Nice.
Shout out to not Doki Doki, but Toby Fox for Undertale. That one.
Oh, absolutely.
The other one that was not only excellent, but knew what you did and how you did it always. Mm-hmm. Fantastic game. If you haven't 3-played it, you should absolutely 3-play that game. And by that I mean finish it twice, finish it 3 times.
Yeah, like actually complete it, not just like little half-ass complete. No.
What was that other weird game? It was like a walking simulator, but the computer got pissed at you after you kept redoing the level over and over again.
The one from the Chex Mix box where you are the Chex guy?
Chex. It was a port of Doom. What's his? I looked this up a few weeks ago.
That game was dope, dude. I loved it back in the day.
I'm pretty sure you can get it on the Internet Archive.
Probably, if I can remember the name of it.
I think it was Chex Quest.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. That one was cool.
Yes, it was Chex Quest.
Well done. You have passed. You get 1 internet point.
I'll
it's
add
about
it
as
to
good as
the
Reddit karma.
You can cash it in later for a beer.
Sick. I'll take you up on it.
Here, I'll email you one of these.
Over TCP. Beer over TCP/IP. There's a $1 billion idea.
Well, it better not be beer over UDP. It's never going to reach its destination.
Well, it'll splash all over his face.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, and probably everybody else is here too.
Mm-hmm. And everyone in the middle. Along the way.
I might get a drop by the end of it if I'm really, really lucky.
You got to use wormhole.
And there we.
Wormhole
VPN here.
is the most valuable freaking thing. Like, I would say it's as useful as SSH, more useful in certain circumstances.
But
Looking
trying to
at
exfiltrate
Wormhole.
data, yeah.
It was a UDP joke, though. Yeah, it was a UDP joke. We've strayed from God's light,
God.
and by that I mean UDP.
Don't
And
worry,
have
the
to-
light just missed a few packets. It'll be okay.
Half the people that heard your UDP joke didn't get it anyways.
That's fair.
Well, that's the way it goes. You know?
We have no way of knowing.
Uh-huh.
I digress. That joke right there, the UDP joke, that's a good way to end a podcast. But you know,
Yeah, we chased everyone off from that one anyway.
so
It
is
has
there
been a
anything
long
else
ass
you want to
day.
shoot shit about today, or are we gonna get going?
Well,
I don't know.
anyone in the chat have anything they want to bring up? Space
Space
Marines. I mean, okay, valid.
Dude.
Oh, thank you, Nighthawk.
Yeah, isn't this
There's a
Space Force?
YouTuber I follow. It's not this one. It's Nighthawk and Light, I think. That dude builds really cool
yeah.
random shit.
That dude's cool.
I'm pretty sure this is my student who uses the same handle.
Right on.
John Con. John Con.
In this, I
Ten.
guess it's a con in this John.
Is it John Con 10 or 0x1?
does
Is
that even
in
mean?
October.
What is John Con?
I don't know.
It's a con up in this John.
I know Wild
guess-
West Hacking Fest is going to be in October, but I missed out on getting tickets for it, unfortunately. But I hear that one's going to be pretty freaking awesome.
B-Sides Atlanta is this weekend.
Yep.
Show up.
See you there.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Sledge, maybe we should put in a CFP so we can try and get into, what's it
I
called? Wild West
tried.
Hacking
I
Fest.
was too late. Oh, for
Aw.
Wild West Hacking Fest? Yeah, we should.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about some randomness and see if we can get a talk approved for it. Just
We
keep
can
submitting
call
random
it-
shit till they approve one of them. Different emails.
We could call it a live podcast and just have random people come up and talk.
I'm in. I mean,
Yeah. Tell me when and where.
yeah.
B-Sides, New York City is also in October. Oh, and speaking of cons coming up in Philadelphia on 9/11 at 9/11 a.m., there is the
Oh.
Crypto Shit Show featuring our friend Nathan, and I'm going to go to that just because why not? And yeah, there's that. All right, and as it is 9/11 week, is that how you call it? 9/11 week? The anniversary of 9/11?
Mm-hmm.
Event day.
Anniversary of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I'll play this AI-generated song that I made as our outro here, featuring some stuff about a firefighter I admired growing up, if you guys are cool with it.
Please. By all means.
All righty. Outro
All right.
time.
If we're done, peace.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us. Come back next week.
Until next time, friends.
I never met you, but I've heard your name in whispered tales and stories that remain. A hero's heart, a gentle soul, they say. I fell in love with the echoes of your days. 80 pumpkins and thoughtful notes left behind. Sand on the floor, memories intertwined. Riding your bike, the fires in the night. As a firefighter, you shone so bright. They spoke of courage, how you faced the storm, with adapt to overcome your sworn norm. Your company was the eye of the storm. Badge of ladder 32 and badge 3597 worn. I want to walk in your shoes, leave a mark like you used to do. Though we've never met, I feel you near, in the stories that I hold dear. When I'm gone, long from now, all they love and remember somehow. You save the souls, Father, and I'll save the bodies, you'd say. hydrant from anyway. I measure myself against your light. In the quiet moments of the night, I still remember the posters in Long Beach as I rode my bike to the shore within reach. Your legacy lives on forevermore. In every step, in every dream I explore. I want to walk in your shoes, leave a mark like you used to do. Though we've never met, I feel you near, in the stories that I hold dear. When I'm gone, long from now, hope they love and remember somehow. Your mottos become my guiding star, in every step, in every dream I explore. In your shoes, leave a mark like you used to do. Though we've never met, I feel you near, in the stories that I hold dear. When I'm gone, long from now, hope they love and remember somehow. Your mottos become my guiding star, adapt and overcome no matter how far. In every challenge, I hear your voice, pushing me forward, giving me choice. So here's to you, the one I never knew. In your stories I found my truth. I hold it tight and shine like you in the darkest night, with your melodies playing in the air. Your spirit dances everywhere. In every note I find your grace, a timeless echo I embrace. I embrace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.